find out what actually does make you happy.
Yeah, you have to have goals, and you have to have stuff that, like, you know, you got to be climbing the mountain, because at the end of the day, like, climbing the mountain is far more satisfying than being at the top of the mountain, you know? Like,
isn't that weird, though? That's like not what we've ever been taught.
Well, it's counterintuitive, because most people don't, like, get that. They just know that, like, okay, like, you know, my dad told me, like, it's better to give than receive. And I was like, okay, that's perfect, motherfucker. You can just give me shit and I'll receive it and I'll be happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but you don't have it. If you don't have it, then that makes sense.
Well, yeah, exactly. And like, you know, it just people, I mean, it's just experience. Like, I mean, like, from the time you're a little kid, you get something, you're happy. Like, you know, you get a boat, you're happy. Like, if I have this bike, I'm gonna be happy. And it's true, and it works, you know what I mean? But there's a point, you almost have to, like, get really rich to understand that. You really have to just buy all that shit, realize, okay, like, I got it all, it's cool, that made me happy, but it's temporary. You know, that's kind of where I differentiate the happiness and the pleasure. You know, you can buy the pleasure, but the pleasure is somewhat short-lived, you know?
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone about this recently, where I was saying that material possessions, once you have enough money to acquire basically everything you want, they don't mean anything anymore. So they don't mean anything. You can enjoy them when you have them, but if you lose them, it's really not that big a deal. You know, if you get an Escalade and some fucking meteor hits your Escalade and you go out there, oh, just get another Escalade. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. But if that was all you had, and you had to save and scrape up your money to get that Escalade, and you kept it clean, then it got hit by a meteor, you'd be devastated.
Yeah.
Once you have achieved this level of success where material possessions don't mean anything anymore, then you can kind of like say, okay, well, what do I enjoy? Camaraderie, friendship, creativity. Like, what is it that I'm actually chasing? Because I remember talking to this Buddhist monk. I did this thing once where I went to all these different religions. It was for this TV show, and I interviewed all these different people and asked them, like, what is it about your religion that's the best? Like, say if I was going to join your religion, you'd try to sell me your religion.
Yeah, sell me.
And the Buddhist guy was saying that sex and all these material possessions, they possess you. And that to be completely free, you have to be abstinent and you have to be free of material possessions. I said, well, why? I go, what if you achieve a level of success where you don't worry about those things anymore, and they don't contain you, they don't hold you, you're not a prisoner of them because you're really not worried about them. Like, if all you had was this one thing and that one thing was taken from you, that would be devastating, and that's what this is based on. Mm-hmm. But what if you had unlimited resources? If you were Richard Branson or someone like you or whatever, when it's not an issue. Then those material possessions no longer possess you. But this guy didn't want to look at it that way. Like, he didn't want to think that was ever possibly an option. I'm like, well, it's not an option because you don't think it's possible to achieve that level of material possession or that material success.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I feel like you have to get to that place to understand it. You know, it's kind of like...
But try telling that to anybody who's listening to this.
Yeah.
Like 99.9% of people listening to this are never going to make a fraction of the amount of money that you've earned.
Yeah, but, you know, in some ways that is a blessing because they're going to have a lifetime of being able to buy that pleasure too because of that, you know, because if you start here on this lower rung, then all those little purchases and stuff like that, you're still like, you're kind of
enjoying the shit out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know, so their baseline is just lower.
Right. They get a new fishing rod, they're fucking pumped.
Exactly. You know, and when that wears off, then they're going to, you know, get a new reel. And, you know, when that wears off, they're going to, you know, buy a new depth finder. What, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the little shit, that little shit, if it makes them happy, then that's okay. But
to the people listening to this right now, they're thinking, okay, well, you're equating material possessions and the acquisition of these material possessions as being the thing that makes people happy. Now, is this because you've got 15 bitches and you're flying around on, you know, private jets and yachts, and you're lacking like real depth to you? You're a smart guy. You're not a dumb guy. So I don't think that that's the case. I think you're having a lot of fun and you're doing a lot of wild, crazy shit, but I don't think you're lacking in depth.
Yeah, no, I am just trying to fully experience everything that I wanted to experience. And there's also a part of me that's, you know, kind of doing some wish fulfillment, some part of me that's overcompensating for lack of things, you know, that I had, you know, childhood-wise or when I was growing up or that I wanted or whatever. It's basically just like kind of like whatever I wanted when I was younger or whatever I placed emphasis on, I kind of like just over-exaggerated and beat it into the fucking dirt. So then now I can move on and do something else. Like my life, you know, I have ADD, so for me it's like hyper-focus.
Is that even real?
I think
that
it
real?
is. I think it is. And I think a lot of successful people have it. And I think what it allows you to do is when you are focused on something and when you have that like pinpoint focus, you can be extremely successful. But when you don't, you're just scattered all over the fucking map and you can't, accomplish anything. I mean, you're just like, and I think a lot of kids have it nowadays because of the stimulus. I think you have so much stimulus at your fingertips nowadays that these kids, if they're not, I guess what I'm trying to say is that people are just overstimulated, and because they have it at their fingertips all the time. Like when I was a kid, like we used to just like have to entertain ourselves. We used to just like go out and play, and just like figure out shit to do. And so we didn't need massive amounts of stimulus. Nowadays, if kids don't have a fucking video game and a movie playing at the same time, they're bored and three other friends to talk to. So it's
they're hanging out and they're constantly checking their phone. They're not even looking at each other.
No, yeah, and I'm victim of it too. It's crazy. You'll be in a social setting and there'll be 5-6 people at a table and they'll all be on their phones, and it's just like it's kind of sad that we've been reduced to that level of interaction where it's just like it's just all electronic, and people, when people call people nowadays, it's just like, wait, what the fuck? Like, why are you calling me? Like back when we were kids, like there wasn't even texting, it was like flip phones. Like now it's like if somebody calls you, it's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I
have one friend, Joey Diaz. We never text each other ever. He might have texted me once. I was like, what the fuck is going on? All we do is call. He goes, I don't like the text. He goes, I like to call. I want to hear your voice. I'm insecure. I want to know you love me. Like he wants to talk to you on the phone. I think